Okay, that's enough of that.
Fuck you, Stone.
You only need like 1-2 seconds of that.
Welcome to the Korn and Kock podcast, episode 49.
48.
Whatever.
Wait, let me double check.
Oh, God.
I'm not entirely sure.
It's a special day today. Not only are we going to be really epic, we got our friend Chris here.
Hello. Hello, Alex. Hello, Stone.
What's up, dude?
How
It's
you
an honor
doing?
to be here.
Good to be here.
No, you're not. Don't lie to the people.
No, we finally put it together. Korn, Kock, and ass.
Yes.
This is episode 48.
This fucking madman, he comes into the room, he's like, we're ready to go, unzips pants.
I so wish we got an outtake of that. It would have been so good.
I just had to get in my podcasting mode.
That's how you get into the podcasting
Take
mode?
off your glasses, you douchebag. It's
Why?
not...
No,
Oh,
I'm kinda
no,
like it. I'm gonna put mine on.
Oh,
Actually,
see?
you know what? Fuck you. I'm putting on my Lime Bike glasses. How about that?
We should take a picture of us with our glasses
Oh, don't
on.
worry. When we do the Daily Bub Cube later, we'll...
Ooh,
Yeah,
A little
okay.
behind the scenes.
Yes.
Well, I'd just like to say, right before we started recording, we started to get into not a argument, but it's definitely something I said, let's talk about it now.
I think that was a good call, because, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Exactly. Alex, what did you... Put your glasses back on,
Freak me out.
So, we have the outro, what's the song called again?
The outro.
Yes.
It's called Beach Parade by, I forget who, Turtle something.
Okay.
The Turtle Boys. I don't fucking
The Turtle Boys?
It's the song. You know the fucking
No,
song.
I know it. I remember-
Teriyaki Boys,
Okay, I'd
by
listen to a
BTS.
band.
It's by BTS. Dude.
Dude, if there's a band called Teriyaki Boys, I'd listen
There
to
it
the
is.
shit
They
out
did
of that.
the Tokyo Drift song.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, remind me of that.
Maybe that is
Send
the
me a
outro.
link to that. But no, Alex, you just
Would you
said...
borrow my copy?
You have a copy?
I got 2 copies of Tokyo Drift.
2?
Yeah. One on DVD and one on Blu-ray. You
I
gotta
don't have
make
Blu-ray.
sure. I don't have Blu-ray either, but, you gotta be prepared.
That's true. But Alex,
Yo.
you said our videos are copyrighted because of that song.
We get a copyright claim literally every single video.
And my thing is, why don't we just write literally our own outro? We have a keyboard. We have drums. We have musicians.
Yeah, everything's so simple in your
Couple
world,
drums.
Stone.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We have 64 to this day subscribers. Imagine if we hit 1 million and we could actually make videos. Or make money. Oh, no, we can't. Because of the beach parade or beach party or the turtleneck boys, whatever is at the end, is holding us back. So why don't we, I guess we don't have to do it right now, but why don't we write our own outro for this?
We could.
Well, let's do
I
it.
think even covers are covered as far as like being able to monetize that, because that's what we usually see
That's free.
podcasts do. Yeah,
Not even just that. What if we covered it, but we just did it in like the wrong key? So then it really sounds bad. Where they're like, we don't even want to go after you guys.
Just
You're
do
not
like that
even-
little like distortion, like for all the notes.
Oh yeah, distortion. So they can't even really tell. Where it just sounds like.
we pull a Zane Tipton with the we pull a Zane Tipton living screens and just go with just
I
What's-
mean, hey, look. If
what
it
do I-
doesn't, if we don't get copyrighted, then let's do it. Just add distortion to it.
is it is there a specific name for that kind of like
I have no
you usually
idea.
hear it in like post-apocalyptic like soundtracks
Yeah.
or it just sounds like
Or any Christopher Nolan movie.
I guess
You
Or
know
it's
Inception?
it's like the Inception horn except like scratchy.
Yeah. Yeah, like in Interstellar, where they see the those aren't mountains, those are waves.
Well, there's that like weird instrument where like you're hovering your hands over it. There's like a line that goes like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the theremin.
the theremin, yeah.
We should get that.
The
We should get a theremin.
That should be our
theremin
outro.
solo.
Oh, what was that Ed Sheeran video?
You'd love to fucking stroke the rod, wouldn't you? Anyway.
Well, no, remember that Ed Sheeran compilation
Yeah,
video?
everybody hates Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, a guy does that in the video.
Oh yeah, it's a It's like he's conducting a mad science experiment. It's really funny.
Well, before we get to the matter on hand,
Oh Jesus.
which is a big deal, we'd like to turn the mic over to Chris. Would you like to introduce yourself to our listening audience?
Yes, my name is
5 words or less.
Fuck.
That's
Shit.
one.
that-
That's
those
two. That's 3.
Hold on, I'm gonna open up the window so it doesn't get stuffy in here.
Just keep your sunglasses on.
Fuck you. Anyway, Chris, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Chris. I am a short-time, long-time friend of the Korn and Kock.
Yes.
The
And,
Korn and Kock. I love it.
And was brought here for the honored occasion of what I believe is the main topic.
Yeah.
And that's the discussion of Spider-Man No Way Home.
No way, dude.
Exactly. We got a lot to dissect here.
We got a lot to pack, and if you're listening and you're like, I didn't see it yet, my mom didn't give me $40 to go to the theater to buy popcorn. Don't worry, we're gonna set the spoilers. But unfortunately, it's probably gonna be most of the podcast, so you might want to like put this on the back burner.
Come back and listen to this.
I'd never say don't watch or listen to our podcast. But if you don't want spoilers, I will mark the spoilers. Don't worry, I'll say this is the definitive point where we're gonna start talking about bullshit. But until then,
you know, these next 5 minutes are for you.
Look, just
by
watch
the way,
the movie.
by the way,
What?
play the clip.
Here's Kock.
That was a really awesome clip. Thank you very much.
Look, just watch the movie, then come back and listen to this. That's what it comes down to.
Frickin' hell. Where's my
We're not
pen?
sponsored by Disney, but it certainly sounds like it.
Are we sponsored by Nintendo? Probably
I
not.
wish. I wish
Get
those
fuck you.
After how much shit we talked about Nintendo, I don't think they'd want to.
those bullshit businessmen.
Oh, I thought you had stuff written down.
I've always wanted to do the rewind at the very beginning,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and now we did it.
But we didn't do the 2 segments though. Wow, we'll do that later.
That's the joke.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good. I like it.
It's pretty epic.
So we got 2 segments we can do in every podcast, but we'll get to that later on. But so let's break it down. We saw Spider-Man No Way Home last night at 10 o'clock, Phoenix, Arizona, and it was very good, very enjoyable.
I enjoyed it.
It was entertaining.
It was very entertaining and enjoyable.
It was definitely cape shit.
What is cape shit?
It's like a internet slang for superhero stuff.
The most like generic as superhero as it gets. Kind of like,
Oh yeah.
kind of like at the end of like Black Panther, where it's literally just like 2 CG PlayStation 2 models just like punching each other and like nothing else was going on.
That's fair.
Can we talk about how people online attribute not liking Black Panther to like Jim Crow racism? Like it's
What?
It's true.
people on
I kind of heard that.
people
but
on Twitter or a lot of just people in general are just like, if you don't like Black Panther, then you're a racist. And it's like, I saw it. It was okay.
I enjoyed it.
It was fine. It was a fine enough movie. It's not the second coming of Christ.
It's
like
not the Citizen Kane of movies, but
no.
Saving that for the second one.
right?
you know, I enjoyed it. The only thing I thought was really fun is they really sold by when I say sold, I mean in parentheses Oakland. They made Oakland look awful. Remember the first 5 minutes of that movie? It's like, man,
Yeah, there was like
No
8
voice
gunshots. There's
yeah,
Honestly, sounds like it was a breezy day for Oakland that day.
that was actually a slow day for them on a Tuesday. But speaking of it, I actually didn't think I'd enjoy Black Panther. I watched it. I actually really did enjoy it. And
nice.
with Spider-Man, I thought I was really going to enjoy it, but it was kind of held back. Just a little bit.
Let's go into that because I was thinking about that. What were all your expectations going into the movie?
I don't know if you saw me in the group chat. We're all in a Facebook group chat. The squad, the boys.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's where we share our
Oh
background.
my god, I shouldn't say this. This is fucked up.
What are you gonna say?
No, him saying "Let's go" reminded me of this streamer that I watch sometimes named Small Ant.
I don't. What are you?
I know
What are you gonna
Small
say?
Ant.
You know
He
Small
does
Ant?
a lot of challenge runs.
Yeah.
entertaining.
He's a cool guy. He's
You
a
got
cool guy.
You got a thing right there.
Flies
That's-
open.
Oh my god. It's not. I'm not. My pants don't have a fly. They're sweatpants.
Okay, sure.
Oh, too good for the fly. I
Wait,
see.
The Fly. Okay. Well, what were you saying?
I was going to say, me and Dion, my friend Dion,
no.
we have an inside joke because he's like, when he plays Breath of the Wild, he does this trick where he like does like a really big jump with like bombs, and it's called a bomb bounce or whatever the fuck. And whenever he does it, he's like, "Oh, we bounced that boy," and we like, this is completely joke.
Oh no, dude. Are you gonna have to edit this?
Maybe.
We're already talking about
Then
bombs.
don't say
We're already
it.
demonetized.
Look,
right? Susan Wojcicki's coming for us.
you were doing good. Now you're just gonna
And
throw
then,
it all
and
away.
then the boom sphere.
Oh Boom sphere. No, he's like.
Why don't you just stop recording, say it, and then keep recording?
Call your lawyer, and then we'll restart this.
You think we can afford a lawyer?
All right, you know what? I'm sorry, people. You can't hear this.
Well,
All right.
I'm glad you stopped recording to say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got that out of my system.
That's
Anyway.
good,
Nice little diamond for us.
Anyway, so let's go. In the group chat, Spider-Man. I was so fucking excited.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was gonna be better than Infinity War, which I think is one of the best of those Marvel
Did
movies.
you think that?
Infinity
really
War
did.
was
I
good.
thought you
Better than Endgame.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
better than Endgame. I thought you did. You said Infinity War was going to be better than this.
I thought this was gonna be better than Infinity War.
Well, because I asked you, I think it'll be. That was one of my hot takes. Is No Way Home will be better than Infinity War, and you said no, I don't think so.
Oh well, then I don't know. I fucking forget what I say all the time.
All right.
But I think
Okay.
that they're definitely in contention of like being compared. Because like Avengers is huge, but I think even Spider-Man's bigger than that. And this being the culmination of a trilogy, going in, that's like, all right, they got to be doing something crazy with this.
And you know, I told him this. Remember the first Captain America? It was just Captain America. Captain America 2. Well, let's add in Nick Fury or whatever. Captain America 3 was everybody. Didn't even feel like a Captain America.
It was basically a soft Avengers movie.
Yeah, Avengers 2.5, Iron Man 1.
Better Avengers 2 than Avengers 2, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No,
Avengers 2 is okay.
fuck you, Ultron.
But no, it brought
Remember right, Whedon?
it brought up something that fuck Joss Whedon. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's something that he said. It didn't really feel like a.
Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
It didn't.
well,
No,
why
it didn't
is
feel
that?
like it didn't feel like a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Well, actually, before we get into it, Stone, what are you watching to / listening to this week? Listening
to Sean Connery.
What are you listen-
Oh, you're getting a call from Scam Likely.
Scam Likely. All right, guys, let's answer the scam call
All right, let's
on
do
the
it.
podcast.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hello.
Thank you for choosing Hilton Hotel.
Okay. If it wasn't a human being, I wasn't doing it.
Sir, your extended warranty is failed.
All right, what am I watching
Not redeem the
to?
Microsoft point card.
Do not redeem. Oh my
Well,
god, I love those videos.
All right, so Chris, this
Yeah.
segment is what are you watching / listening to? So, what's the last movie / TV show you watched?
Don't say No Way Home because that's a given.
And then listening to what's the last song or band you listened to?
Last, honestly, I've been on repeat some Duffy.
Duffy?
I think the ending of Part 6 for JoJo, that Distant Dreamer song, is pretty good banger. I don't know if you guys talked about Part 6.
I have
Yeah.
a little bit.
Is that Stone Ocean?
Yes.
We talked about
That's
that.
Yeah, you
named
know
after
about
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
there.
The
I was in those
writer,
board meetings.
the writer came to your dad and was like, "I need this."
I had to sign
I'll be
off on
taking
that.
this.
I got screwed over because I don't get any money off of that. Name.
Little did
Always
you
gotta
know,
go
for
for
5 years of
royalties.
your infancy, you were taken by a weird Japanese man.
That's why you can never eat sushi. Just bad memories.
What?
No, he loves sushi.
Yeah,
That's
it's my
why he
favorite
loves
food.
sushi.
Oh, shit.
Well,
I
it's
got
it's Tokyo Express though. Would that explain it?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, that's
A
where he
deeper
did. That's where he did most of
conspiracy.
his writing.
In the back of Tokyo Express.
Yeah.
That's where I was held.
Yeah, with the guy going, "When California?"
Oh my god. No. Okay. So what was the last thing you watched before Spider-Man?
Movie, right?
Yes, or TV
Movie,
show.
TV show.
TV show. It was well, I've been going through. I finished the 12 episodes of Part 6.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
After that, I switched over to the final half of the season for Money Heist, which is also on Netflix.
I heard.
I've
It's
heard
like
of
this
it.
Spanish drama, very like soap opera-y, which is the entertaining part.
But it's called Money Heist.
It's a very dumb name. I think it's called in Spanish. It is Casa de Papel, which
Well, that
is
The House
sounds
of
cooler.
Paper.
House of Paper.
That's fucking
It's a
sick.
little
Why
bit-
didn't?
Why wasn't that the name?
When I first saw Money Heist, I'm like, that's like naming your like superhero movie like Superhero.
Seriously.
No, it's like no. The long-awaited sequel to House of Leaves, House of Paper.
Well, hey, ironically, I bought a book recently called House of Skin.
Is that a sequel to House of Leaves?
Is that
No.
is that a spiritual successor to Wrong Turn 3?
You know, they made like 6 of those movies.
Ew.
Eventually, you would think they'd make the right turn.
You would think.
Wait, to go the wrong turn, eventually they'd come back and they'd go the way they
So
were
wait,
going.
they
They got what, at
eventually.
least like 3 tries before they're like guaranteed if they're
Well,
going
like,
90.
3 lefts make a right,
Yeah, so
or whatever
shouldn't
the
it,
fuck this
well,
saying
shouldn't it
is.
by the 4th movie they finally get the turn right? I guess not.
But then it was not even on the right road.
Have you guys seen those movies? They're just gory as shit.
I've seen part of it. I was trying to sleep that one time.
Yeah, and you thought it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I was like, can you turn it down? Got it, turned it all the way up.
I did
That was
not.
It was either Russell or Mayer then.
They weren't even there. It was just us in the room watching. Okay, that sounds a little weird. We were on a vacation with.
We were making out.
It was me, Alex, Russell,
I
Mayer.
missed out.
Was Ben there?
No.
Was it just the four of us?
It was you, me, Russell, and Mayer.
No, wait.
No, Aaron was there.
Yeah, because I slept on the floor, so there had to be 5 people.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
but-
the time that Mayer took that greasy shit in the toilet and like
I
ruined
know.
it.
I
And I started peeling the paint off the fucking door because it was just like this huge bubble. I was like, dude, I gotta do it. It was like a blister.
Doors it.
We're getting sidetracked. How did we get on this?
That's a great question. Because you were talking about House of Paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
House
right.
of Paper, and I said House of Leaves, and you said House of Skin, and I said Wrong Turn, and then you said Vacation.
Wow, we should call this podcast. Try to keep up with us.
Try to keep up.
Well, what about you? What was the last
Now's
thing?
the time to take your Ritalin.
Seriously, or Xanax, because you got to slow down to catch all this stuff.
I did half a Xan, 36 hours till I land.
What about what was the last thing you watched / listened to, Alex?
The last thing I watched was The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, what'd you think? Did you like the rhino at the end?
Paul Giamatti does not make a convincing Russian. He's like,
Eh.
blah, 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 blah.
That's literally what he says.
I'm stealing the money.
I'm a rhino.
I like to drink vodka and wrestle bear. What is the spider doing? Get out of the way.
What is the spider doing?
I put my cock in your mouth, boy. Get out of here.
No,
Okay, what's the last thing you listened to?
well, can I just say something about the movie?
What?
Stupid.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that.
Dane DeHaan is a horrible fight.
Yeah.
Didn't like him.
Peter, it's too late for me.
Nah, dude, just like, we can talk about this. Alright. And the movie's over. That's all you had to do.
Multiple villains in a Spider-Man movie would never work.
We remember Spider-Man 3. How many villains are in that movie?
3.
Yeah,
That's
too
how it's
much.
easy to remember.
It's too, it's too much.
But
it's a mnemonic device.
apparently the magic number is 5
I guess.
because it works significantly better.
It did work. It did work. Really quick, I'll say what I was listening to. What the fuck was on my iPod? Oh my god. I was listening to Baby Park soundtrack. It's the soundtrack for one of the tracks on Mario Kart Double Dash.
The best track.
The Baby Park?
Yeah, Baby Park.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a good one.
Oh, dude, and that third lap when it, or no, what is it? The fifth lap when you get
seventh
the.
lap.
Oh god.
That was always one of my favorite maps, and people are like, "Really, Baby Park?"
It's like the Final Destination.
It's great.
Of, Mario Kart.
It's pretty good.
Well, really quickly, it's funny you say Amazing Spider-Man. There's a dumb line that I just remembered. Remember the scene where Spider-Man goes over and Green Goblin wants Spider-Man's blood to do the transfusion thing?
I need his blood.
And then he goes like,
Give me your fluids.
he's just like, it could kill you. And it's like, or it could
I'm
do something-
already dying.
Or it could do something
Your
worse.
blood can't make me die more.
But it could do something worse. What's worse than death? You're dead. Seriously, what's he
worse?
talking about?
Could be a long, excruciating life.
I guess, but then you can't just, I don't know, jump off a bridge or, you know.
He does always have that in his back pocket, I guess.
Yeah,
It gets
so,
too
like-
bad.
He works for like the richest company in the world. They can't fucking make him a special bullet that makes him go night night forever.
I mean, I don't know.
If nothing else works.
Not a great line.
Well, he just gets that like super cancer healing factor where then he can like never kill himself like Wolverine.
Well, no, even
Oh.
Wolverine can die if you chop off his head.
No, they've taken him down to his skeleton before.
His skeleton. How
and
they
it's
do
like
that?
in
They
his
send
own
him. They
mirror
send him to
where he can
hell. I
regen.
think.
How do they send him to
They sent
hell?
Godzilla to hell one time.
Then the skeleton came back, and they're like, well,
No, I
that
think a
didn't
bunch
work.
of demons like take the form of Godzilla, like a giant like
Amalgamation.
amalgamation, and then that's
Wow.
just like Hell Godzilla. But he does go down to a skeleton action, I think, in that one.
wow.
Yeah, and then he comes back to
to
Tokyo, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're saved!" And he goes, "Rah!" and fucking knocks the tower down.
And he does the lawnmower, just runs back and forth throughout the city.
Like, oh, that's silly Godzilla.
I want a Godzilla movie that's like 5 minutes of action and the rest is just a black screen because when Godzilla shows up, he just like runs through the city, fucking mows, like you said, lawnmowers it, fucking mows down literally anything.
Block by
block.
No survivors, and then he goes back into the fucking.
You know where I got that from?
What?
Cinema Sins.
Of course.
Because they were like, why can't Godzilla just kind of do a lawnmower and just the movie would be done?
It's true. He goes slow and he's like, dink, with this fucking.
He like
flicks
kicks
the
the
thing.
building or something, like punches it, and then that's like all he
It's
does.
fucking unwatchable.
Absolutely reprehensible.
Well, the last thing right before I came over here was The Blacklist. That's why I was a little late.
James Spader.
And then the last thing I listened to was, oh, what was it? I just listened to on the way over here. I know I listened to Serenata Immortale by Immediate, but I listened to something after that. What the hell was it?
Immediate, more like later.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That was the last thing I listened to. You want to do the second segment, or do you want to wait a
What's
little
the,
bit? The anniversary.
Sure.
So another thing.
Because we're itching to just get like deep dive right into
That's
it.
true.
Exactly. Get it out of the
So
way.
we do anniversaries. Today is the 118th anniversary of the Wright brothers' first flight on December 17th, 1903.
They get an inch of lift and they're like, oh fuck!
What?
Put it down! Put it down!
Put it down! Put it down! This is a bad idea. Do you think he was white knuckling it the whole time the plane's like taking off?
Oh god.
No. Here's the thing. They did 4 flights, and one of them was like 59 seconds. I have to ask this. Okay, it was a different time back then. You see photos. They're wearing suits out in the field. They didn't wear shorts. Do you think when they actually flew and it got off the ground and he flew for 59 seconds, do you think they were like, dude, we fucking did it? Or do you think they were like, all right, very good. Run it again?
I think it might have been the
Run it again.
first ever instance of a let's go.
Seriously, you're like, dude, let's go. Wait, where's the clip? Hold on, I gotta play that clip of the coach.
Matthew Driscoll.
Yeah.
You've
But
seen
do
the
you
one that
think-
Ben sends all the time, right? Where it's that pasty white dude, pasty old
this
white
one.
dude in like. But he's just like,
Oh, that was his whole spirit in that.
but he was just facing the wall.
But seriously, do you think when it flew off of the ground for 59 seconds and they're the first to do it ever, do you think they did that? Or do you think they're like, all right, very good, Orville, just bring it back around and
Run
run
it
it
again.
again?
Let's do some more tests.
I mean,
Let's
come
go for
on.
60 next time.
Back to the lab.
Better yet, what if that was the very first instance of let's go and dude?
That's when the word "dude" was invented. Something divine came down from the heavens. and-
Exactly. Dude wasn't invented; it was discovered. And you had to
It was
just
discovered.
They just had to be going a certain speed in the air.
I wonder, when was the first dude used?
You know what's really funny? You screamed really loud. My window's open. My neighbors they're like, "Oh shit, he saw Spider-Man No Way Home last night."
Holy crap.
Telltale signs.
Apparently, the word dude was introduced in around 1789.
So, that's a lot earlier.
Wow. There's a Wikipedia page for the word dude.
And let me guess, the
Holy
Wikipedia
crap.
page is, please don't. If you've made up to $2 in discoveries on Wikipedia, then you have time to donate. And I'm like, no, I don't.
Oh, I hate
You
that.
owe us money.
You owe us for the information that anyone can edit falsely. Yeah, thanks.
Typically incorrectly.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Thanks,
how
but
about
no
that?
thanks. Fuck you.
Thank you, Orville and Wilbur Wright.
Nah.
Thank you. For your popcorn and your flying.
I want to look
For
into
your
that.
popcorn.
Like the first time. Oh, I was gonna say we couldn't do it, but I'd love to make a spoof video of that, like us as the Wilbur brothers. For, like
we
the first
actually
flight.
make
Where are we
plane.
gonna get a fucking prop plane?
What? Did you not hear? I said if we had the money to do it, and if we could do it. But could you imagine if we did?
All we have to do is tap Zane's bank account and fucking
Tap it?
yeah, tap into his Yoshi story fund.
Sell that. Convert it to an NFT.
He still doesn't know what NFTs are.
I don't.
I
People
don't
who
think I
made
know
NFTs
either.
don't even know what NFTs are.
They're pretty fucking
People who
stupid.
work on David Lynch movies don't know what it's about. The only person who knows is David Lynch. So whoever created NFTs, yeah, they know. People who work in it, they don't know.
He's the only man you can ask.
David Lynch?
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to tell me.
Exactly.
I asked Zane, I'm like, do you think if David Lynch came home and there was a gunman holding his kids hostage, like with a gun to their head, and they're like, David, I'll let your kids go. You just have to tell me what Eraserhead is about. Do you think he'd be like, sorry kids, I can always have others? Or do you think he'd finally crack?
He'd be like, What's 17 more years? And always start again. Have a new kid.
I asked Zane. I think he was a little like hesitant to answer. He's like, no, I think you'd do it. Like, I don't know,
Can't say for sure.
He'd be like, now I know this is gonna sound funny,
but I can't.
but
tell
it's
you.
different.
But I can't tell you. But it's different. All right. But anyways.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck this. We're talking about Spider-Man now. We're getting into the meat of it. All right. What is it? It's 25 minutes in. All right. From this point on, we were going to have no holds barred spoilers. So if you are afraid that your mama is going to beat your ass because you spoiled No Way Home for her, leave now. And then come back when you see it and give us your fucking views, please.
Your views.
Make sure you watch all the way to the end.
Yes.
All
Yes,
the
for
way.
for a secret surprise.
Oh yeah. Secret surprise.
Super. See, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this movie.
They were, and you know, a little bit of me was not sure they were necessarily going to make it. I feel like the legal jungle that must have been to navigate through was, I almost thought insurmountable, but also now that I've seen them, it was pretty fucking obvious that they were just going to put Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in.
Well, yeah, because they hinge so many of the villain interactions on, do you remember this thing that happened in Amazing Spider-Man and also Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films? Do you remember that? Do you remember Oscorp? Do you remember when he tried to turn everyone into lizards? Do you remember? And it's like, well, okay, we have these guys.
I remember.
It's like, oh, the fucking fat bastard in his Captain America shirt with the greasy hair and fucking little round glasses. Like, I remember this movie was made for me. If that's offensive to you, you're the problem. Go take a shower. Anyway.
Go take a shower.
I'm going to wash your feet.
Why wasn't Tobey Maguire dressed as Spider-Man when he first appeared? But Andrew Garfield was.
He was on his way back from groceries, dude.
Pizza time.
Toby was just chilling around. So I guess all those Spider-Man must have seen the news report that J. Jonah Jameson was doing. So they knew that there were other Spider-Men in the universe, and they knew one of them was in trouble.
Is that why?
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
why. I think that's why Toby said, "Oh, I know you two," like to MJ.
There we go.
Yeah, because they were all
Okay.
over the news.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's best friend and his girlfriend.
In their
it didn't
universe?
click. It didn't click with me. No, in the universe, because they were both in the main universe already. They were just being called towards him.
Yeah, they were just like chilling in like fucking alleys or something.
So they were like.
Hobos.
So you're talking instead of the multiverse, they're in the same universe.
Well, yeah.
No, they were still pulled in from their multiverses.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
the spell
But
when the spell failed, they still came to the world. They're still from other universes, but
Yeah.
when they were called into fucking Ned's abuelita's house,
Yeah.
they were already in that world. They were just in a fucking alley somewhere in New York.
And I guess because like Spider-Man was being so prosecuted at the time, they wanted to keep it on the down low.
It's so weird. It's almost like
Although Andrew was in his suit.
that's what I'm saying. Is like he was in a suit, but Tobey Maguire wasn't. So
He had it
what was
under
up?
his shirt.
He did it. Yeah, that's true. So, okay, so Andrew Garfield and so Tobey Maguire just had it under his shirt.
And it could have been like when they were taken from the portal.
But
Unless Toby stole his clothes from a homeless man like Green Goblin did.
well, oh, that's true. But Tobey Maguire had it under his shirt. Andrew Garfield,
always
hold
keeps
on.
that thing on.
Andrew Garfield keeps it in his backpack, but Tom Holland, because of technology, can just go like this, and it just kind of molds into his body.
Yeah, he's got the nanotechnology.
Which then brings into kind of something that you said about how Tobey Maguire can just do the thing, and they're like, "Whoa, you get that from your body?"
You can squirt cum from your body, dude. I have to like formulate that in a lab, dude. What the fuck?
Did you ever get, like,
Quirky.
blocked?
You were gonna get web blocked.
What's your refractory period like?
Oh my god.
I was going to say, yeah, Toby fucking he went up to a homeless guy and he's like, I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye and fucking took his fucking jacket.
I did like how he's just like, why aren't you like Spider-Man? Be like, well, it kind of beats the whole anonymity thing, which I can respect. Because nobody in Spider-Man or The Amazing Spider-Man knew that. Tom Holland's universe was the only one.
True.
Yeah, except
True.
for the villains.
The villains
but-
and like
But they were already there.
yeah.
I mean, Kirk Connors.
But yeah,
is
they
still
never
alive.
did the whole... Because that's like, I think, a Civil War storyline from the comics where Spider-Man's identity gets revealed. And then, like, on a wide scale, and I'm sure they've done it a couple other times, But then it's like, you know, the fallout from that, and they already did Civil War, so this time, you know, it was about...
You know, I'll ask this. I want to make fun of this, but I just can't help it's a little bit of true. When you watch, like, Spider-Man's a vigilante, he's a criminal, I want to go, that's bullshit. If this is real life, people wouldn't do that.
No.
But I think they would.
That's a good controversial, but I mean, look at all the people that are against Assange.
Dude.
You know, and Edward Snowden.
Oh, right. No,
you
well,
turned into review bro for you were just like, oh, that's the real meat of the story, don't you see?
But you think about it, it's like constant like video footage of Spider-Man like doing good things. Now he's still a criminal.
I don't disagree. I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I think people would be like fucking flies and be like, holy shit, holy fuck. But I don't think it would be. I think people would clearly see that there is, like, in the same vein that, like, people were like, oh, dude, Mysterio, this guy that we've never seen before, oh, yeah, he was in the right.
Yeah.
There would totally be people who were like, what the fuck? Spider-Man was, clearly he's the bad guy. Spider-Man's the good guy. He fucking saved the world from the purple alien man.
Well, it's like the thing with Superman. Batman v Superman. Oh, Superman's a bad guy. We got to get him.
Yeah, it gets to the whole like unpredictability of
But then you
super
think,
people. And
then you think, would real people think that? And yeah, they probably would. I don't think it'd be 50-50. I think it'd be like 80-20. They'd definitely be the minority. But there
Yeah.
still would be people out there where it's like, hey, this obviously good guy. No, he's a villain. He's a bad guy.
Like, I really thought it was shoehorned in when he like came back to school after his identity was like given out,
Why-
and
why?
his gym like his teachers were like, oh my god, okay, you can crawl on the walls, you can shoot, you can
That-
shoot, and
yeah,
then the
that was
fucking
too
coach,
much.
the coach is like, I know what you did,
you murder that man, man.
Hannibal Buress.
fucking Hannibal,
And
Buress.
it's back to
collecting
something you
his
said.
$40,000 check for a 5-minute cameo.
5 minutes. That was the only scene he was in.
She got enough money from his tenants.
Dude, he was barely in it for 2
Jesus.
minutes, and it still made $50,000.
But it's funny, you were saying it didn't feel like the old Spider-Man movies, and I think that's true. The only scene it did was with the teachers. It had that very kind of off-kilter, kind of more awkward humor, but I think works in
Right.
that setting.
Right. Not the older Spider-Man movies. I mean,
No,
specifically
yeah.
the Tom
Older
Holland
the-
ones,
yeah,
because
the
like they felt like
Homecoming and Far From Home.
yeah, they felt like because they had those like funny little travel
A
montages.
lot lighter, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of a lighter story. It felt like. I think the biggest problem this movie has, and I really want to preface this by saying that I did enjoy it and I had fun watching it, but the more I think about it, the more the problems that I think it has are like glaring to me. It's like this movie is taking itself way too seriously.
Okay, I've been saying that about Marvel for years. They take themselves way too
Well-
seriously. But I get why they do it. They kind of have to, but sometimes they go. It's like, you're not Citizen Kane. You're not 12 Angry Men. Stop acting like this is like some huge cinematic accomplishment. It's not.
They're kind of spotty because like a big complaint people have with the Marvel movies is just like, oh, a horrible, sad, dramatic moment, and then someone's like, wow, I'm sure glad that wasn't me. You just got vaporized.
Oh, but
And it's
I know
just
some
like
people would do that. Like I can
throwing
see
the quips in.
Yeah.
And
there'd be people
I
like
think Guardians 2 is like one of the main offenders of that.
really.
I think that one pulled it off well.
For the Guardians, you know, they definitely had a lot more of that those characters that you would expect to be doing something like that. But I know just in general, like people, there's a small subsectors like tired of the quips, which there weren't very many. Even the chattier Spider-Man Andrew Garfield, you know, I think he had a little interaction
Oh, the
with the
stuttering
wizard.
Stanley Spider-Man. Oh my god. I watched Amazing Spider-Man for the first time, and I knew that he kind of stuttered, but holy
Yeah,
crap.
I forgot he does have that whole total thing
The
going
whole
on.
movie, he never gets like his confidence up. He stutters the whole movie.
And sometimes he remembers that he's supposed to be playing some kid from Brooklyn, so he has like he's like the kid from Brooklyn.com.
Oh, by the way, I want to apologize. I told you Andrew Garfield was British. He's not. He's born in L.A.
Okay, so
Does he
I-
have a
fuck.
British accent?
I thought, and why I said that was because when Uncle Ben dies in Amazing Spider-Man, he goes,
call an ambulance.
He has like this weird accent,
Call the fucking.
but I don't know.
Call the fucking lance, mate.
Well, I don't. It's
Was
funny
he
you
like
say
born
that.
in L.A. then moved to London like 6 months later?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. But it's funny you say
Got
that about
easy
the
American
accent.
citizenship.
Because when he yelled that, I'm like, oh, that's his British accent coming out. Because when he yells, he does that. But maybe
Sorry,
he was
my
trying
British
to
came out.
Well, maybe he was trying to do a Brooklyn accent when he was
Uncle
yelling.
Ben, drink this bottle of water.
So I want to apologize. I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not, but I know I did tell you.
We were watching the movie and you said
Okay.
that, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
I do apologize. I'm usually pretty good on that stuff.
You're not forgiven. Anyway,
Sometimes can't be.
Or are you unforgiven too?
fuck you.
You got it.
Unbelievable.
Unforgivable.
Unforgivable. Literally
Literally
unforgiven.
unforgivable.
I was going to say, back to the topic at hand. I think really the biggest thing about this movie is that, like, with Guardians 2, I really think it works with the whole, like, taking itself seriously, but also kind of being lighthearted and wacky, is that, like, all the lighthearted, wacky stuff is kind of at the beginning. And then you slowly start to get to the nitty-gritty of it, where you find out that the guy who's so friendly turns out to be a bad guy.
Oh, he's a dick.
Yeah, and he fucking brain cancered the main character's mom. He's like, oh, I loved her. Oh, I'd put a fucking bullet through me to kill her like that. And he's like,
All right.
fuck you.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, and then, like, you had, like, that like, true father-son, even though they're not really related thing with the blue man.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
Yondu.
Michael Rourke.
Jan-
Michael.
Michael Rourke. The guy from Walking Dead? Right.
His
right.
name's James. No.
Timothy.
So, like, I can forgive it because I think it worked well. It, like, had a build-up, it had, like, the payoff, and, like, a twist where it was like, oh, shit, I wasn't expecting this. I thought this guy was going to be really cool. This movie, Spider-Man, it's like, it starts off serious, and it tries to play itself serious the entire way through, but then just, like, throws in these fucking wacky, crazy, kooky moments. Like he's literally, like, they're just fucking making it rain. And, like, and it just litters itself in random moments that don't feel natural.
I will my not to cut ahead, but my final thoughts on the movie is that the parts are very good, but the sum is not as good as those parts.
That's fair.
It's one of those where I told him, I think I would have Iron Man, Avengers, and Infinity War above this movie. And maybe Doctor Strange. I really like Doctor Strange.
It was good.
So let's say those 4 movies, and then probably this one. Because all the other movies... Look, I like Doctor Strange, so obviously he's in the movie. He gets some points for that. Because I'm not a huge fan of Thor or Captain America or Scarlet Witch. They're okay, but I don't know. Spider-Man's cool. I grew up watching Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, of course. So there's probably a soft spot there.
Dumpy McGumpy.
So at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you enjoyed it. It has its faults, but it's not something terrible. You know? I feel like the payoff was... I told you my vision. I think they should have done that. But they didn't, and it was okay. I get it. But the interesting part is if they're going to do more Spider-Man movies, you hear that Tom Holland doesn't really want to.
Which could have been a ploy for a higher salary. Is you kind of make it sound like
think?
you're not going to stick with it, and then they're like, well, what do we give you? A couple more Lamborghinis? Think that's going to work? And then he's like, yeah, that works.
Oh, that works. I'm going to go to Nando's with me, mate.
Now, let me ask you this. The scene where they reappear. Thoughts on the scene where Garfield and Maguire come back.
That's
Good, better.
Would you say that's one of the most poignant scenes in the movie?
I think it was definitely the most hyped scene.
Oh yeah, if any of you are ever watching this in the future, when this goes like we go viral, if you went and saw Spider-Man No Way Home on opening night in Phoenix, Arizona, and you heard somebody in the theater go, "Let's go!" when Andrew Garfield took off his mask and went, "It's me!" that was me. That was me screaming.
That was good. It was very good.
I told myself I would do it, and I fucking did it.
It's funny, when that scene started, because when he was just like, oh, I wish I could get them back, or whatever stupid hand motion he did, and you saw a flicker, I looked at it, and I'm like, they're going to walk in here. That's how they're going to do it. I thought they would just kind of just appear, like the
Yeah,
villains
like
did.
in the middle of like a fight, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were going to do. But I knew Garfield will show up first, and then Maguire, and I got that right.
That's a good guess.
I'll say this too, Alex. You got your 3
Oh my
predictions
fucking
right.
God.
He leaned over to me in the movie and he goes 3 for 3.
I had 3 big predictions
What were
coming
they?
into this movie. I don't know if you had any, Chris.
I usually I'm very much a turn my brain off and just watch it because whatever happens happens. My
I'm kinda
roommate's
that way.
always like, he's going like guessing ahead like what's gonna happen. I'm like, just fucking watch it, please. You'll figure out in like 5 seconds.
I try to throw out what I think, but then when the movie starts, I try to just, go blank. But also, if you're watching a bad movie, you can kind of turn the logic
Yeah,
apart.
then
But if you're in the
sometimes
movie,
it's fun to-
and I hate to say this, but when I watch like Fast and Furious, I can't turn my brain off. And also, it's Vin Diesel.
It's great.
I have my guilty things too. Kind of like when you watch like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not that deep or whatever. I can kind of do both. I can turn my brain off and just watch.
Apparently, I've watched every single Pirate of the Caribbean movie except the latest one, and I gotta tell you, I don't remember fucking anything about any of them.
Who told you to
think-
watch them?
My parents did. It was like, yeah, we took you to see all of them, and I'm like, don't remember.
I think every Pirates of the Caribbean past the 3rd one that I saw, which might have just been the 3rd one, I like fell asleep during.
That's not
Because
good.
that's when they decided to make those movies like 2 hours and 45 minutes,
Yeah,
whatever the hell they were,
yeah.
and then kept that trend going for like almost all of them.
And not just that, but they could be kind of confusing at times. That's,
Yeah,
you don't want that combo. You
pirate
don't.
magic.
You don't want to make a movie that's long and confusing. You just
David
don't.
Lynch. Anyway,
So your 3 predictions.
my 3 predictions. Yes, sorry to keep you waiting with bated breath. 3 viewers. Sorry, it's fucked up. My 3 predictions were Aunt May was going to die. They needed some kind of stakes, and I was like, dude, they're gonna have like it's gonna happen. And Stone was like, that's a poo-poo take. That's not gonna happen.
I will take the loss on that one.
It was very brave of them to kill hot Aunt May.
What?
Because they could have kept her
Dude,
around.
Marissa Tomei.
That's on that.
She can still.
Oh
she's
my
like in her 50s, and she's still looking good. But that's not the point. I will take the loss on that because I looked at Alex dead eye contact, and I said that is one of the worst takes you've ever had, and I was dead wrong. And when that scene played out, and she got up, and I'm like, she's okay. But then when she starts to kind of, I'm just breathing. I could feel his like. Because I knew you were sad.
No, I was sitting there with
No,
my
you
fucking
weren't.
hands over my face, and I was conflicted. I was like, oh my god, this sucks, but also, holy fuck, I was right.
I know, and I felt that, and I was just like, I'm gonna tell him to shut up if he says anything. And I think you did at some point.
No, and so she was lying down, and poor Peter's like, come on, stay with me. And I look over at Stone, and I'm just like, I fucking told you. And he's just like, shut up. And then the scene played out, and honestly, we probably should have reacted a little bit more respectfully for the death of a hot character. But you know what? You both didn't hide it. I don't want to
We
hear
were
it.
in a corner of the theater. There was literally one other guy by himself.
True.
Sitting next to
Well,
him.
I mean, besides the "let's go," we were pretty quiet the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, not disruptive.
So that was.
That was my first one.
What were your other two?
My second one was they were gonna have a joke where Tobey Maguire shoots his cum gland, and and the 2 other ones are like, "Whoa, you can just fucking do that? We need we need Apple Watches to do that shit." And I was right. They did that. There's a little quirky little scene where they're all sitting on the Statue of Liberty, where like the climax takes place, and they're like, "Do you ever get cum lodged in your?" And
Did you ever get a blockage?
You still get post-nut clarity.
And I was right about that. And third one, last one, really quick. I knew I just knew that if Andrew Garfield was in this movie, there was going to be a moment where MJ. They had it in the trailer where she's falling, and
Yeah.
Peter's like, MJ.
And like you see a hand, and
You
it's
see-
like the color's different. That's not Peter's glove.
But it was.
It was Peter's.
It was a double. It was a double cross.
That scene
yeah.
played out really fast.
I thought that Andrew Garfield was gonna come in, like Peter was gonna get like knocked aside by like Sandman or something. He was gonna get like smacked aside, and then Andrew Garfield was gonna be like, not again, and fucking
happening.
Not again.
I warned you about stairs, bro. He fucking flies down and catches her, and then he's like, yes, and he's like, I remember my girlfriend.
You know what? I will
and
say
that
He did have like a PTSD face after
he
that.
did.
Like,
That it absolutely happened. That's exactly what happened.
was
She
completely
fell.
the direction.
Tom Holland gets swiped away by Green Goblin's glider, and Andrew Garfield's like, no, and he goes and catches her, and she's like, thank you, and he's just sitting there with a fucking pouting, crying face
like
because he's
thinking
like,
of his dead girlfriend.
yeah, come on, dude, get over
Fuck,
it.
was that easy?
Was that easy? Why didn't I do that? No, but in a slightly serious note, I did enjoy because the theater clapped during that.
oh no, it was definitely, I think, well earned. Like,
It
one
was.
thing I did really like about this movie is that for all the characters that came in, like, I feel that it pandered way too hard and that it was way too reliant on nostalgia for the other Spider-Man films.
Look, it's Green Goblin.
Oh my God, Willem Dafoe! He said the line. He did say the line.
Oh my god! Dude, when he said the first line, or
that
two
was-
words, I knew it. I knew it.
The little
Yeah,
smarmy smile.
He
on his
literally
face.
fucking says, I'm a bit of a scientist myself. I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. It was fucking great. I think this movie relied a little bit too heavily on nostalgia, but, big butt, big jiggly butt.
Some MC Hammer butt.
Yeah. I like that everybody who came in from the other Spider-Man universes got a happy ending.
Peter got stabbed in the fucking back.
Yeah, but he got to see Alfred Molina like good
That's
again.
true. No, so that moment.
He got to
was
see
really
he got to
good.
see Willem Dafoe good again. Like, even though he was
For a
just
second.
he was just sitting there and he's like, "Oh God, what did I do? I'm sorry."
Yeah, for half a
Oh
second.
yeah, no, he's like fuck. He's like, oh god, I just killed Aunt May.
Yeah.
No, he's probably hungover. Like, what?
We should have
last
led with.
night?
The fuck was in that cocktail?
God, I'm not hanging out with Bill Cosby anymore. I'm sorry. I had to take a shot.
That's okay. I think we should have led with this. We should probably do a plot synopsis.
Okay.
So people know the order of events. So like we're not just talking about random
Go
things.
through the
Like,
parts, get some organization.
yeah.
What the movie's about? You mean?
Well, like kind of like a plot summary, like what happens.
So yeah, so the first act is very much like kind of what we saw in the trailers. It's Mysterio revealing Peter's identity and the fallout from that,
Hold up, no.
which we see
Look,
a lot
look.
more of that than I expected.
Here's what happened. His friends didn't get accepted into MIT, and Peter's like, "Not on my watch." And then that's
ask
it.
a wizard instead
That-
of calling MIT.
Yeah, he literally goes to Doctor Strange, fucks that up, and even Doctor Strange was like, "You didn't call them. You came to me, and you didn't call them," and that literally set the movie in motion.
That's the what is the term in like writing the spark that
What is it, like the rising action?
I guess
That's like when Luke's
That was
get
when the
killed.
movie. That's when the movie started.
Yeah,
when they opened the letters together.
Yes.
And they didn't get accepted.
yeah they don't get accepted into MIT because MIT is like, we don't want to get canceled on Twitter.com. So we're
recent controversy.
due to recent it reads like a fucking Twitter ban. Like
It does.
it's like you're not allowed into MIT because you know Spider-Man, and you're not allowed into MIT because you are Spider-Man, and you killed some dude on a bridge in London. So fuck you. And
Fuck you.
and Tom Holland is like, they had nothing to do with this. This sucks. I hate it here. And then he looks at a Halloween decoration and he goes, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah.
And runs.
Yeah.
I know a wizard.
Yeah, he runs to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, "I have a spell that can make everyone forget." And he's like, "Oh,
Okay.
sweet doctor, put me in."
Why? Remember the trailer when the other guy's like, "Steven, don't cast that spell."
That
Wasn't
that was
in
an
the movie?
interesting change because the timing of a lot of those scenes was different. Like the whole like, please call me Steven. And he's like, Steven.
Yeah.
He's like, that was weird. In the trailer, that was like much more drawn out and it like made it sound more awkward. It was much more quicker in the movie, which I think made it sound better because in the trailer it was kind of like,
Well, Strange just talks faster.
yeah.
So it made
But then
sense.
yeah, there was that weird change about like the don't you cast that spell? It's too dangerous.
Yeah, fine, I won't. I
He's
like
like, I
that.
won't. Wink, wink.
Well, it's
That-
dumb, but I like that.
I think they should have kept that. Like, I won't do it. I won't do it.
But
Well,
then he
it
does
made
the
this
stupid.
theory online that it was maybe like evil Doctor Strange. Because like, whoa, Doctor Strange is a rebel. It must be the evil one. And
Oh
then,
my god.
But then it was actually just the real one.
Speaking of evil Doctor Strange,
Well, that's at the end of this
Yeah,
analysis.
it was not. Oh, that we can't spoil.
Oh no, we can spoil that. We'll just talk about it later.
Well, there's nothing to talk about.
We're doing a plot synopsis so people know what the fuck we're talking about.
They know what we're talking about. We've been teasing. We've been talking about this movie for months. If
So
they
like
don't
2
know
more
what it's
hours
talked
of movie
about,
to follow.
Well, just in case somebody doesn't give a shit and they don't want to see the movie, but they want to know what it's about, we're
Well,
telling
then-
them.
Yeah,
hold
you
on.
want to spoil your friends, you know.
I'm
keep
gonna
this-
just read the plot synopsis because we're just describing the whole movie.
But that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, so,
that's true.
all right, basically, he does the spell, but then Peter Parker's like, but my proctologist needs to know who my name is. He needs to know that I'm Spider-Man. And Doctor Strange's like, shut the fuck up, kid. And then he fucks up the spell, and then it's like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I nearly fucked it up, but I managed to contain the spell. And fucking Tom Holland's like, oh, cool, now maybe I can give those MIT guys a call. And Doctor Strange, he fucking takes off his glasses, shaking, and he goes, you didn't call them first? You didn't call them
And plead your case.
before fucking ruining the world with a fucking like you can see the vein popping out of his head. He's ready to have he's gonna have a stroke. And Peter Parker's like oopsie doodles, and then he goes and finds some lady on a freeway, and that's when Doc Ock shows up, and he's like, hello, Peter. And they have a fight, and then
I had the power of the sun in my hand, and you took it from me.
Okay, you know
I
what?
had the power of Sunny D in my hand.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that line. It felt way too forced.
Which
really
one?
it's
The
like
Hello, Peter?
No, it was
that was
the,
great.
I had my machine, the power of the sun in my hand. It felt like it was like remember Spider-Man 2.
But the second time he says it at the end of the movie, it felt a little more natural because he kind of just says it to himself.
He was like the power of the sun in my hand. Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, that
but
was
one thing is like, people have been, they don't like, they're not specific as to when they were pulled out. Not all of them, like of their universe, but it seems like they were all pulled out of their universes the moment they made the decision that ended up killing them.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
the
was
other
like
interesting part.
before Doc Ock. I haven't seen Spider-Man 2 in a while, but it's like before Electro charges himself in the
Amazing Spider-Man
big
2,
conductor
yeah.
or whatever, and that explodes him.
I hate to say this.
Doc Ock before his glider stabs him.
Yeah.
That's where the movie should have ended. It should have ended with the first scenes we see them. And it should have, like you said, they should have either shot it the way that it looked back then, or just literally showed it. Because then it's like, oh, the cycle starts back. So they get a chance of redemption. They get to go back in time. Because here's the funny part. Did they get a happy ending? So Doc Ock is like, oh, I'm going back. And he's
It's
drowning under
underwater.
the water. Is that a happy ending? Not really. Unless he goes back in time and he gets another chance. But of course we know with this whole time concept, they're villains. That's naturally who they are and what they will be.
Well, that's
They
the
were
whole.
cured.
But that's the whole thing in the movie. Doctor Strange is like, we gotta send them all back because they're bad guys and they're fated to die. And Spider-Man's like, nah, I can change them. And it's like a fucking episode of
fix 'em.
Intervention where he like takes them
Yeah.
all to his house, and he's like, he has this fucking machine, this Deus Ex Machina machine that can fucking synthesize anything. And he's like, don't worry, I'll make a new chip. I'll make it.
Stupid.
I'll make a new chip for you, Doc Ock. And he's like, no, unhand me, boy. I do not like this. Do not put your hands on me. And he puts the new chip in. And he's like, holy fuck, the voices are gone. Thank you, thank you. And then he's gonna do it for all the other
Where's
villains.
my chimp friend? He disappeared.
He's gonna do it for all the other villains, but then fucking J. Jonah Jameson, Alex Jones shows up, and fucking Willem Dafoe goes nuts, and they all go free, and they're like, "Fuck this! I'm a bad guy!" And then that's when Aunt May dies, and Spider-Man's like, "I don't want to be Spider-Man anymore." And the other two Spider-Men show up, and they're like, "We will help you develop the cures." And then
We'll
they
make the MacGuffins.
yeah, and then they go to the fucking Statue of Liberty, which is being like fitted for a Captain America shield on the fucking.
Was that in a previous
Kino.
movie? Did I miss something?
No, that was just for this movie.
Okay, that was a little stupid.
It was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Chris, you said it last night that you thought it was a cute little comic book, like a cheesy.
Yeah,
comic
they're
book
like
thing.
always doing shit like that, and like the comics,
Oh,
and like
oh, yeah,
Captain
where they're like-
America's from New York.
Or
so
especially
it's
like,
kinda
Spider-Man, where are you? I'm at the Statue of Liberty. And then I'm like, where is he going to be? At Barclays Center? Or Madison Square Garden? I mean, of course. Or the other one, it's like,
I'm
where
at
you
the wax.
hang out?
I'm at the Wax History Museum.
I'm at the
I'm in the
museum
cash cab.
the Museum of Natural History.
I'm in the Cash Cab, the TV game show that takes place right here in the. Okay.
Or like, where are you at? Chrysler Building. Where are you at? Empire State Building. Oh, the view's good. The view's really good there.
So
Okay, you're just Sell New York, why don't you?
Right? It's the whole movie was just a travel brochure. It was like a please come to New York.
I'm surprised he didn't go like, hey, you catch that Knicks game last night? They're getting better. I'm surprised they didn't do stuff like
Fuck
that.
Trey Young! Fuck
Tom
Brady! Oh my god.
Oh, and those street hot dogs, they're so cheap but so filling.
Oh jeez.
Oh god, I could eat them all day.
God, that subway is so dirty. It's like enough with selling New York. I get it. New York's fun, but enough. So I keep stepping in your toe.
No, you're fine. Don't worry
play
about
footsies
it.
with me.
To finish up the synopsis really quick, basically they all cure all the villains. They all they turn Sandman back into whatever the fuck. They make Electro not electric anymore. They turn the Lizard back into. I was surprised that the actors came back and they were like. I didn't think they would actually use Sandman's actor.
That was one of the things people were talking about before, where I was like, "What? That'd be a deep cut."
Because the entire time up to that point, he was all sandy and CGI,
yeah.
but then at the end, it's literally the dude. But anyway, so they all get cured except for Green Goblin, who's like,
Hey, Spider-Man, you fell into my trap. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Make you lose hope.
and Tom Holland's like, "Fuck you, dude!" and fucking punches him a bunch of times. He's about to kill him. Tobey Maguire stops him. And Toby gets stabbed by Green Goblin, and then he has a moment of post-nut clarity, and then fucking Andrew Garfield shoves the serum, and instead of killing Green Goblin, he cures him, and then he's like, "Oh God, what have I done?" And then up to this point, Doctor Strange has been trying to keep fucking multi-dimensional troublemakers from coming through, and he's like, "I can't do it," and he's like, "Wait, they're only coming here because they know I'm Peter Parker. Make the world forget about Peter Parker, everybody." And Doctor Strange's like, "Sounds good. Fuck you." And then...
But
that was actually a pretty heartfelt moment, because it did seem like Strange was going to be sad that he was going to forget Peter.
Yeah, so...
That was a good acting from Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. I'll get to why that kind of bothers me in a minute. But, so basically, he casts a spell where literally everybody in the entire world forgets who Peter Parker is. And...
Even the Social Security...
even Happy Hogan,
Hogan.
good old Jon Favreau from Chef. He's like, yeah, that's all he says. Anyway, then Peter Parker goes off on his own. He tries to reconnect with his girlfriend and his friends, and he figures that it's better off to leave them in happier lives where they're not in danger all the time. And it's a very mature moment.
Scratch on her head.
It's a very mature moment, and it's like. And then he moves into an apartment. It's like, "The rent's due on the 1st of every month. Don't be late." And then
he's explicitly in his post high school era Peter Parker, which is where a lot of the majority of the Spider-Man stories happen, except for Ultimate, which lingers on his teenage years, I think, for the entire run. But now we're in the real Spider-Man.
Can I just say that's not a synopsis? You just told the whole movie.
That is.
That's what a synopsis is.
No, synopsis is what's the movie about. This is what it's about. You just laid out the whole movie.
That's no synopsis. We didn't read the script.
Page 1, interior.
It's like when
Spider-Man is jerking off in his room.
It's like when I asked my mom what the Blair Witch Project was about. Instead of just telling me what it was about, she just told me the whole movie and spoiled the whole thing. And I asked what it was about.
Point is, it's over. Now we can talk about cool things.
We're still going to talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah, no. I know we're not done about the I mean, cool things about Spider-Man.
So
kind of
cool
how. What's up?
That I was thinking about. So how do you rate the 5 villains that showed up?
Well, I didn't expect Green Goblin to be the big mastermind bad guy.
I think Green Goblin seemed to be the standout for a lot of people, and I think that might have been probably the best screen Goblin we'll ever get. I think the costume was awesome.
But why Green Goblin? Is it because he was the first of the Spider-Man
villains? Yeah, in a lot of the story arcs, Norman Osborn or Green Goblins, he pretty much is the Captain America of the bad guys for Spider-Man, as far as
that's fair.
The Sinister Six goes.
And like Alex said, all villains get a happy ending. I didn't want that. I wanted a villain to be a villain, die, a villain sacrifice himself, like Doc Ock, and then the other 3 get happy endings. I don't know. Too much happy's never a good thing.
Fair, which is why I want to say that while I do think it's sweet that everybody got a happy ending, it kind of makes the ending kind of seem like it's oh, well, I guess it's to offset how sad it is that no one will remember who Peter Parker is. It's
he's got nothing now. He's got no family, no friends. He barely has blinds.
It's the price of doing business.
The price of doing business. Also, Daredevil like made like a 5-second cameo. He was like, "I'm a good lawyer," and he caught a brick.
I had no idea that was Daredevil. Russell, I leaned over to Russell. I'm like, "Who's that?" And he says Daredevil. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And
Yeah, his
that.
superpower is that he's blind.
That's
That's literally it. That's his whole thing. And people were like, "Oh yeah, cool," but he did nothing. So I'm not impressed.
It was I'm surprised we didn't even see like a trial scene.
trial scene.
Well, he was arrested, you know. But then I guess he was acquitted.
I thought Happy Hogan was gonna get arrested or something like that. Remember when he's like,
He
"No,
was like,
you're
yeah,
gonna
you're
need a
fucked."
good lawyer."
Two things that really fucking irked me about this movie.
What?
First is Jon Favreau. Every time he's on screen, you want to talk about Andrew Garfield being a stuttering Stanley. Every scene where Jon Favreau's in, he's like, I didn't do that. Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to sleep here. He's like really.
Ironically,
He's really shitty comic relief. And I don't
ironically,
like it.
during this scene when he's like trying to sleep, he didn't stutter. Because you know why? Because when you're trying to sleep and those fucking kids are making noise, you go in and
they're doing cam sex.
yeah, you go, "Hey, knock it off! I'm trying to go to sleep." But everything after that, which I
Make me too horny to sleep, Peter. God.
But Aunt May,
God, now I need to go jerk off. God.
Aunt May, can we like just stay together? Every scene he stutters, except for when he tries to sleep. That's the only one where he doesn't stutter. Like in Amazing Spider-Man, he stutters throughout the whole movie. Even when he and Gwen are already together, he's still stuttering. I don't know. Is that a thing with Spider-Man, or was that Andrew Garfield?
I think that was his twist to try and make him seem more quirky.
Like, yeah, make him like more. Because Peter's a weird character. Because like everyone wants to be Spider-Man, and like he's jacked and smart, but he's also like needs to be like a nerd and like an outcast. And that was like the biggest challenge of like how do you present someone like Garfield as this kind of like, you know, wallflower, wall spider.
Yeah, it's almost that's one thing that's
Shut up.
annoying about Hollywood is they try to. We need to do nerd, and then they try to pull out how to nerd for dummies.
How to be a nerd for dummies.
Yeah, it's like high schoolers in movies. They're like 6 feet tall. They're like 28 years old, but they're juniors in high school.
I think
My God, I'll never be accepted in the court of public opinion. I'm such a loser.
I honestly think that's like one of the like funniest parts and one of the most charming parts of the first few Spider-Man films is that everybody's supposed to be a high schooler, but you know that in your heart of hearts that they're all like 39, 40-year-old actors and actresses. It's really funny.
And not just that, but like, oh, we need to make him look nerdy. Put him glasses. He gets beat up a lot, but not every nerd gets beat up in high school.
Yeah, only the really bad ones.
Well, yeah, only like the really, really bad ones
Only
that
the
put
ones
themselves
with
out
the
there.
only the ones with the BO and the Dungeons and Dragons shirt. Okay.
Well, not even just that, because sometimes
Oh, I fucking
in the library there were a lot of those guys.
I fucking
There's like 10 of them.
I fucking knew this guy in high school
Yeah.
who had a cardboard box. He literally like duct taped a cardboard box with straps, and that was his backpack.
Why?
And oh god, his BO, he smelled so fucking bad. Holy shit. Honestly, I would never advocate for anyone to beat up anybody.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I'm gonna let you theorize what I was going to finish that sentence with. Anyway,
Just tell me who to beat up.
Look, I'll.
I'm a paid.
You know what?
I'm a man who works for cash.
I'll counter that with this. If the only thing you got on a guy is their BO, it sounds like they're doing pretty good.
It's not
Because if they
it's
do
not
that,
Very rarely
Counterpoint.
is BO
No.
just the issue.
that's a
kind of like a
counterpoint.
symptom of larger issues.
Counterpoint.
No, counterpoint.
Counter.
I did the
Oh yeah,
counterpoint.
right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so you counter
sorry.
counterpoint.
Sorry, I'm a fucking moron. Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Speed stick is like $1.
Counterpoint. They're lazy or they don't have a car and they don't want to do it.
Oh, gee.
Whoa.
Solved.
Wait, did
It's
you get
advanced
that or
technique.
did someone give that to you?
I bought it.
Oh, hey, there you go.
You know, I used to play Warhammer with this guy who'd come in from the bus and he'd be like double fisting 2-liter Coke bottles.
Oh, that's fucking base though.
Yeah.
He was kind of built like a beach ball and had like a blonde neck beard and like a who's the super bad guy with like the Jufro?
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. He had like that hair going on.
You know,
And it
Speaking of
was-
speed stick.
It was so bad.
you're actually putting
that
it on.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
His smell, like you could smell him halfway across the store. One time he went to use the bathroom, and I think my friend who was working there like used half a bottle of Febreze after he was gone.
I never ran into anyone like that in high school. Now I did see like you could hang out in the library. There were like those big tables where they'd play like Dungeons and Dragons or just some sort of card game. There are a lot of them, and I've always wondered whether like nerds are always lonely. Not from what I saw. I was lonely.
They usually have their own friends. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the...
they
They have their own little clique. When they say they're lonely, they don't have women.
Well, then why don't they just say that?
Well, because they don't. Because they want to make themselves feel pitiable. They want women to feel pity for them, so they will fuck them.
Very
That's the
simple.
sad
Fuck
truth.
them or just hold their hand.
Look, give them any indication that they know they exist. And it sounds harsh, but it's true.
It goes a long way.
A little bit of human interaction, you know.
Little bit
Don't
of
fucking
physical
touch me. Just kidding. All right. I put my hand on Chris's shoulder, and he was like, "Oh, I never knew how you looked with these sunglasses on." Second thing I wanted to get to really quick. I don't like what they did with J. Jonah Jameson. I love J.K. Simmons, and I think he was a fucking star as J. Jonah Jameson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. 'Cause you remember we watched Spider-Man 1. And he's like, "Sir, your wife's on line 1." He picks up the receiver and then just puts it right back down. It was fucking funny.
It was very subtle and quick.
Yeah, he was very funny, like quippy, just really funny. And then
Like the whole, because this whole shtick is obviously he's like an Alex Jones parody.
absolutely, because he even pulls out the thing that I didn't like is that he literally pulls out a thing. It's like, "This is brought to you by Daily Bugle supplements, the only supplements you'll ever need." And it's
Yeah, I
like
didn't like
it's
it.
like
It felt like they just wanted to make fun of Alex Jones.
Which was, I thought it was hilarious at the end of Far From Home.
Yeah.
As that bit when you first see him.
Yeah,
but
but I
then,
never saw that.
keeping his character
yeah.
like that, kind of not as much potential as the more true to form J. Jonah Jameson.
But then the question is, how did they get it right before? How did they mess it up this time?
because before he was
It's a very
just he
small
was just a
bit.
character. Now he's a parody.
Well, I think it's just like you said. It was, when you saw him, it was quick. He had great one-liners, and that was it. Now there was too much time.
This J. Jonah Jameson is not funny. He's not funny. He's just there to be like, "Spider-Man's a public menace. Fuck this guy."
Yeah.
And then he shows up, and he's just like, he's basically a villain. He doesn't do anything.
He's a shit stirrer, yeah.
He's a side villain, essentially.
He stirs the pot, and like, he's not likable. He's just there to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like that, I was really disappointed that they didn't do anything like cool with him.
Well, I recently found that the scene in Spider-Man 1 where Goblin comes into his office, and he's like, "Who's the photographer that takes the picture?" And he goes, "I don't know who he is." And
He
you're
sends
like,
him by mail.
"Yeah, he's sent him by mail." And
And then
It's
Green Goblin
interesting.
looks at the paper and sees photos by Peter Parker, and he's like, "You fucking liar!"
Well, there's a lot of good material there, because like J. Jonah Jameson almost takes on like a fatherly role in some of the Spider-Man stories, where he gives Peter a hard time because he cares about him, and that's like a really cool aspect of the character that is kind of like lost in the Alex Jones
and
parody.
someone brought up that in a YouTube comment, there's never any context of why he didn't reveal who it was. Like, who's the photographer? And he goes, "I don't know." There's never an explanation for it.
He's just protecting him.
He's got a heart. He's like, "I see this freaking green elf. I don't want him doing what he's doing to me, to that
Can you
little
imagine?
boy."
Nowadays, that wouldn't be the case. Now you get a 15-minute explanation about why didn't you say,
A flashback.
you know. But now, back then, it's like, nope, here you go.
Look, dude, I just didn't want to get canceled on Twitter.com.
Yeah, Twitter was around back then.
Literally everything revolves around not getting
better
canceled on
time.
Twitter.
You know, half the problems you say about people
That's why
on
I'm
Twitter,
sweating so much right now. I don't want to say something that's gonna be.
but you're not in your
canceled on
basement.
Twitter.
Oh my god.
Your mom's not serving mac and cheese again.
No, I'm sad.
No. Half the problem is like what's trending on Twitter. And sure enough, I checked last night. Andrew Garfield was trending on Twitter.
Oh, yep, dead giveaway.
Why was Andrew Garfield trending on Twitter? I didn't see Tobey Maguire.
I think that has to do with it's a generational gap. It's more like Andrew Garfield is the Zoomer Spider-Man.
So, what's
And-
a Zoomer exactly?
Zoomer is like people who are probably like just now turning 18.
Oh, God.
That generation. So I think like either a generation below us or like a half generation.
So there's like, are they the same thing as Gen Zers, or is Gen Zers like a generation behind the Zoomers?
The Zoomer.
Because Gen X.
Is there like a list I can
Gen
look
X
up?
was after millennials, I think, or maybe before.
By the way, if I had my computer, I'd be typing away. That's why I keep pulling my phone out so I can look stuff up.
Stone, pull that up.
Yeah, there's this is really funny fucking moment in Spider-Man 1 where Green Goblin, like Spider-Man, the poor fucking bastard's holding the train car full of kids and holding Mary Jane, and Green Goblin just floats over and goes, ah!
No.
And does nothing else.
You have to tell them the best shot in any movie. When he's like holding Mary Jane in the bus of kids.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Make your choice, Spider-Man. The woman you love, or suffer the little children.
he drops both of them, and he's like, what do I do? And he makes his decision, and you just see him running towards Mary Jane with the fucking falling like screaming kids in the background, and you know he saves both, but like, if you've never seen that,
just make some more.
it's just so fucking
No, because
funny.
it's like, should I just show him? It's like 5 seconds long.
if you want to.
It's
I like
so
the scene
like.
where Goblin's like in like the babushka hood. He's like hiding in the fire. He's like, oh, I'm a poor woman burning in a fire. Save me, Spider-Man. And then he turns around. He's like, wah!
He's like Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare.
Yeah, no, they do. Like, there's like some like jump scare. Like, sound.
There's a fucking scream.
Straight up, yeah.
And Markiplier with his face cam, he goes, "What gave me?"
Gotta take my sunglasses off.
Yeah, it's. I completely forgot about this scene. So when we watched it and it came up,
We were laughing our
my
asses
God.
off.
It was almost like you would have thought it was a parody. That's how like bad.
That's how
the
good
scene
Willem
was.
Dafoe is.
Hold on. So I don't care. The audience, Michael, pick it up or whatever. So he drops it.
That's a lot of kids.
Then watch. It's so good. It's so good.
They're just like, it's not even like falling to the side, it's just falling behind him. Every second he gets farther
But he's
and
like
farther
not. He's
from
just
the
like
dying kids.
not even giving his shit.
Yeah, he's just running like Usain Bolt to the other side of the bridge. Oh Jesus! Sorry.
Wow, thanks for throwing your vape. At
Yeah, I threw my fucking memory card at him. Sorry.
I don't know how to. What am I supposed to type in on Google? Like, what's the timeline for all that stuff? Like, I don't know how to.
Generation names? I don't know.
Yeah, the generation,
Okay.
like taxonomy.
Taxonomy.
So I think it's like Gen X, millennials, and then Gen.
Oh, so
Z.
millennials is what I was thinking of. Because Gen Z, that's where Zoomers comes from. Zoomers.
I know the youngest is Gen Alpha, which I think is
Okay.
kind of bullshit. Cause like, what have they done yet? to
And
become
what have they
Alpha?
done? They're
Okay,
still in
I
their
got
fucking
it.
diapers.
I
Wow,
got.
like,
You ready for
can
this?
watch Sesame Street. Congratulations.
So-
sure are Alpha.
So from 1883 to 1900, that's the Lost generation.
Oh yeah, because they're all dead.
They all watched Lost.
And then, oh, get this.
Do they ever leave the island? Time moves slower on the island.
Wait,
Last season was
get
so
this.
fucked.
1901 to 1924 was the greatest generation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's
Way to
literally its
fillet
name.
yourselves
Oh,
there.
it's the Gen Alpha problem, but even before then.
But then 1925, 1945, the silent generation.
Good.
I guess they didn't talk. 1946 to 1964, baby boomer.
Yep.
So boomer. Generation X, 1965, 1980. I thought that one more. Generation Y, 1981 to 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Or millennials.
Or okay.
Okay. And Generation Z, 1997 to 2012.
Yep.
And then
Zoomers.
Generation Alpha, 2013 to 2025.
Yeah, so they're basically fucking. They're still fucking. They're eight.
Yeah, what the fuck have they done?
They're 8 years. They're 8-year-olds. They're still fucking learning fractions in 6th grade. Like, shut up.
Fractions.
A better distinguishing factor I've seen for the generational split is if your childhood significantly contained the internet or not. That seems to be what separates a millennial from a Gen Zer.
That's pretty fair.
You have to ask the person. This is how you know. You ask them, "Did you discover porn on Newgrounds?"
Yes.
And then they will. And then if the answer is whether it's yes or no, you'll know who you're talking to.
You know how I can tell? You ask them about movies. Where they go like, hey,
Who's your Spider-Man?
yeah, who's your Spider-Man? Yeah, Jurassic Park. And then they go like, you need Jurassic World? You know, Jurassic Park.
You go Jurassic World and you go, "You little shit!" And you fucking punch him.
Or
Like that
Jaws.
smug like Wojak with like the fist.
Yeah, just doing the fucking Vegeta. Just like his fist is all the way back here.
Oh, you know what's sad too? I work with a guy who's like 18, 19, maybe
Ew.
20.
Ew.
He literally looks at like late 90s as old. Like, old.
We have to kill him.
So when I say, like, oh, Jurassic Park came out in 93, he's like, 93, that's old. And I'm like, you think that's old? What about The Godfather? It came out in the 70s. And he goes, that's really old. And it's just like, I can't, you agree and disagree with him. Because it is old. It's far away. But also...
Far from home, even.
Yeah. But it's true, generation gaps. What are our kids going to watch? Are we going to show them Tobey Maguire, Garfield, Tom Holland? There might be another Spider-Man after Tom Holland. They'll get another actor.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, he's going to be Batman and Spider-Man.
He'd make a good one.
Batman or Spider-Man?
Both. That like as the same character.
I didn't like
Bruce
Robert
Parker.
Pattinson's long hair as Batman. It just didn't look right.
The fucking emo,
Yeah.
fucking pierce the veil, My Chemical Romance haircut. Like, all right, thanks, bud. Real quick, let's finish up Spider-Man because we're running on time.
Is there, what else is there left to say?
The end credits stinger.
Oh
Yeah, there were two of them. There was one where Venom, he's like, I'm having too many drinks. I need to talk to Spider-Man. But he gets sent back to his universe, and a little black glob falls to the table.
Venom had a baby.
Venom did have a fucking baby. He gave birth. What's the term? I'm dumb.
Procreate.
No, like when you give birth, but it's not like you actually have a baby in you. You like split.
It's like budding.
But can you reproduce by budding?
I
Whatever.
don't know.
And the second one was a teaser trailer for the new Doctor Strange movie where he teams up with Scarlet Witch, and then evil Doctor Strange shows up. So I guess whatever leak you saw or whatever you were saying about evil Doctor Strange, that they must have meant, like,
that was just a rumor
yeah.
because they thought that like Strange was just acting mischievous. But now we actually do get to see the what if evil Doctor Strange make his way to the MCU proper.
I actually read for whatever reason, they had to change some parts of this script for the multiverse. I can't remember why. But some things that they were going to address in this movie will get addressed in the Doctor Strange movie.
I thought they did some reshoots for this one, or maybe that was the rumor.
Possibly.
I thought the Daredevil was a reshoot, and then they threw him in there. They're like, "Oh, it's actually a good idea. We should make
This is an audience clap moment.
So it's like, okay, we got a taste of the multiverse, and now the second one is the
I hope we
multiverse?
didn't actually, because it seemed the trailer made it seem a lot. It almost made it look like the first Doctor Strange, but this is like the multiverse of madness. That name alone, I'm kind of expecting shit to go crazy.
Well,
I want to
better
see
be
some weird
madness.
stuff.
I thought, in fact, when I was reading about Spider-Man madness, I thought all the Spider-Mans were going to come back in the Doctor Strange multiverse madness thing. But this was years ago when they were just talking about it. I don't know,
proximity.
but I really like Doctor Strange, and you cannot have a title called Multiverse of Madness and not have madness happen. You better have stuff happen. And they have Scarlet Witch. Why Scarlet Witch? Because she can do this crap?
Yeah, she's also a wizard.
WandaVision. At the very end of WandaVision.
I never saw one.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, didn't you say it was okay?
I liked it. It was like
The first 2/3 were really good.
when it was solely just like parodies of like old sitcoms
That was fun.
with like what the fuck moments like in between. I like that they brought back Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. That was funny.
Yeah, that was weird as hell.
That was like a multiverse moment because he was like from
that
another.
was
He was
like
from
the
another
first little
universe.
touch.
Yeah, and like at the very end, she's in a fucking cabin in the woods with Chris Hemsworth, and fucking. Never seen Cabin in the Woods?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
you'd like
Dang.
it.
I know what it's about, but I've never seen it.
It's weird. It's fun though.
I want to see it. I heard it was good.
One of the guys is basically Shaggy from Scooby Doo. He has a fucking retractable fucking coffee.
Yeah, a little
mug
telescopic bong.
It's fucking great. But she's sitting there and she's like doing the Doctor Strange thing from Infinity War, where she's like looking into different realities.
It's like Silent Hill twitching.
Oh, that's another thing. I know I've told you this, but I'll tell you. That scene in Infinity War where Doctor Strange is like, tripping out on LSD, and then he comes back and Iron Man's like, you okay? What was that? And he goes, I was playing every single possible alternative of whether we win. And how many scenes did you see us winning? And he says 1. If I was writing, I would have said about 6.
Have they ever just tried like asking Thanos for the stones back nicely? Please is a magic
They
word.
literally did that in What If. Like Black Panther was Star-Lord and he was like, please give me the stones, and he was like,
okay.
All
fine."
right. And he just gave him. He was like, all right, dude. All right, sure. This
And
what
you know,
happened.
Make sure you bring him back in one piece.
Endgame also suffers from a really terrible reading of "I used the stones to destroy the stones." It's still bad.
Stone, 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 stone.
And of course, I'm sure No Way Home will have some really bad lines. I just can't remember them. I'll probably buy that when it comes out on DVD. I think it upgraded.
It'd be interesting what a rewatch of the movie would do, because I feel like a lot of the reason to go see the movie is that whole like, whoa, Andrew Garfield, it's Tobey Maguire. And then like on repeat viewings, if that still has the same kind of
Magic.
magic
Well,
to it, because then you're looking at the plot alone and the story, and I think that's where the movie was maybe a little bit weaker than even the first two.
I'll tell you this: the magic won't be there, but it's not the movie's fault. You can only be surprised or be like, "Oh, is it?" Because it's like, is it going to happen? Well, we know it's going to happen, so
Aw,
it won't hit
it's on the
same.
DVD cover.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what if they announced it? They will be in this movie. Would that have affected the movie?
I think people would still be just as excited
Yeah.
Yeah.
to see like how they all interact.
Yeah, and I like that they just lied about it.
I would be surprised if after 2 weeks of the movie being released, if the marketing doesn't shift to like just
that
straight
they're
up
in
admitting it.
Yeah.
They were very much like, don't spoil this for other people. Please don't spoil this for other. Please don't spoil this for other people, because they want it to be a surprise. But I mean, at 2 weeks from now, they're probably gonna be like,
Yeah, no, that's
because I don't know, if I was Tobey Maguire or fucking Andrew Garfield, I'd be a little miffed that I couldn't show up to the fucking red carpet premiere of the
true.
fucking
Yeah,
thing,
it'd be a little
because,
sus.
because it's like, I was in this movie too.
Well, and that's
Fuck. They could have just said they were there because, we used to play Spider-Man. We're passing the torch.
I was in the neighborhood.
I was in the neighborhood and I just happened to be
That would be
in
so
this tuxedo.
That would be perfect. But they didn't do that. Instead, they were like, haha, fuck you.
One of my final thoughts is I do think it was a very nice kind of like epilogue to the Toby character too, especially the Andrew character who never got his full trilogy.
I was thinking that.
So that's why I think he got more of the lion's share of the attention between the three of them.
I'm glad you said that, because I thought about it. Maguire got a full trilogy. They're going to make a fourth one. But then they decided, we'll reboot it. At the time, I shit on Amazing Spider-Man hardcore, especially the second one. I saw it in the theater, and I'm like, this is stupid. But then I thought about it watching it, and I'm like, maybe that's why he tried really hard, because he didn't really get a proper close. So maybe it's kind of like, hey, here's your chance. You get 15 minutes of screen time. Here you go, bud, because they're not going to do this again.
Well, I think he killed it too. I think he did a really good job.
Maybe he was awkward, but again.
No, I think it worked out well.
What?
Toby, I was a little underwhelmed by, but he was kind of like the calm, wise, quiet one.
The older, what do you call him, a youth pastor?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to be dressed like a youth pastor the entire time, or are you
then
going to
he goes-
suit up? And he's like,
He like unzips his pants. You see, it's the spider suit under there. It's like,
oh, thank God.
It's like, wow, dude, you packing down there? That's where you hide it?
Lifts up glasses. I was going to say, happy ending.
notice the spider bulge.
Andrew Garfield gets a happy ending.
Yeah.
Or at
But
least
we're not talking about the villains. The villain happy ending and the Spider-Man happy endings, they're different. Say it with me, it's different.
All right.
But,
All right.
no, yeah.
Before we give our final rating,
Mm-hmm.
do you think this movie would pass the Zane test?
Well, are we talking about him going to the theater? Or just
Fucking
watching
Chris turned his neck like he was in The Exorcist.
it? And then he looked and he goes like,
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Going to deep thought.
Your mother joined the monkey wars in hell. She sold him out.
She was on the wrong side.
With Benedict Cumberbatch.
no, not Benedict Arnold. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Benedict Arnold Batch.
the Zane test. So Zane said that he would be willing to watch the other movies in preparation for this one, but obviously
Okay,
he
you know
didn't
what?
come with us.
That's not gonna happen. He also said he wants to play Resident Evil 1 through 6 before 7, and he hasn't done that.
Well,
So I
he's
would,
got
Called
other
out.
games.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Still gotta play Pikmin 3.
Well, he only played through
Yeah.
half of Pikmin too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to finish Pikmin too.
Anyway,
But are you talking about going to the theater?
No, I'm talking about like would Zane like this movie, or do you think he would be like, it's just a bunch of nostalgia. This is
Yeah,
stupid.
no, I think
both. I think it's hard not to enjoy it. In fact, if you went in that movie saying you hated it, I think you're just being that guy.
Like you're just being a cynical douche.
It's almost like when you have a panel of analysts and there's 4 guys and 3 people agree, all of them agree, somebody has to take. Because you have to have a conversation. You can't go, I agree with you. Okay, commercial break. Let's go. You have to have disagreements. So I think he'd enjoy it. I think there'd be fan service that he wouldn't like. I think there'd be lines like the power of my son. Like why the first time he says it, which is what I said. It might be a little nostalgic, but at the end of the day, it's like, how can you not enjoy it? When you see Tobey Maguire walk out and he just looks calm and cool and older, and you're like, I watched you when I was a kid. How can you not have the little Alex inside get excited, or the little Chris, or the little Stone in you?
I'm not.
I
gonna-
did.
My
Little
leg
Chris
was
was
fu-
very
my leg was
excited.
my leg was rocking back and forth. I was like,
I was
like,
nervous.
Excitement. It was
I
exciting.
cried.
Yeah.
No, I didn't cry.
Did you hold the
weeped.
guy next to you? He was there by himself. Did you go like, oh man, I can't believe this
I was
is so
rubbing my
exciting.
tears on his shoulder.
Really quickly, that guy was by himself?
He's probably either at friends, other places that.
Was he high?
I don't know.
Because I saw he had like a hoodie or something. He was like going like this.
He did, yeah. It seemed like he was like the type that would probably like.
Show up to a movie, fucking ass blasted high.
You haven't really watched Far From Home until you've seen it on ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca? What's that?
Oh, that's
I'm
like,
not quite sure myself.
That's like fancy native tripping out. I think it like basically is like horrible to drink and it makes you want to like throw up everything, but you gotta like keep it down so you can actually absorb it. And then you like
Jeez.
have a risk of like dehydration and dying. But hey, if you stick through it, then
It's
you
pretty
know
fun.
maybe you can talk to girls after. Who knows?
What a
Maybe you
what
can
a
get
sentence.
Maybe you can get some BO.
You might die, but like pussy.
You can maybe finally get the courage to drive down to Walmart, get some deodorant. Okay,
Jesus.
well,
Final rating and final.
wait, hold on. Do you think Zane would enjoy it?
Well, kind of like
I think if he gave it a chance and watched the other 2 Tom Holland ones, maybe.
See, because I didn't watch the other Tom Holland ones, and I still enjoyed it.
Maybe.
I mean, what's to miss? His identity's revealed. All right. What is there really anything else?
there's like slight like I think the romance with MJ is pretty cute in the Holland ones. I think they do a good job building up with that and making a
I agree.
believable couple. I think the MJ character was really good actually in this third one, and how she kind of like stuck through with him. And
I really like how she evolved from I don't give a fuck to holy fuck, are you okay?
yeah, no, her homecoming, and it was kind of cool to see that kind of breakdown.
Yeah, it was
that more reserved personality when she's opening up with someone she cares about.
It was an actual character
It was.
arc.
Yeah, especially at the end where he's
shit,
like,
in a Marvel
"What do you
movie."
say? Expect to be disappointed." She goes, "No, let's go. We're gonna go kick some ass."
Kick some ass, yeah.
That was nice.
It's pretty like slammed in your face because they said it like 7 other times in
Yeah.
the movie.
But you know what? I think it was earned.
But you give it a pass.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying with Zane. I think he give most of it a pass. Where you're like, okay, I get you got to do fan service. You're bringing all these villains back. But if he says he hates it, I think he's just doing it
I
to
don't
be
think
that
it'd be
guy.
very merciful. Well, I was kind of
No.
like my like most cynical thought when the movie was over. I was like thinking, I was like, what was good besides action figures clashing together and punching each other?
I think the idea of one of my favorite parts was in the villains when they're all like, "Wait, you know him?" And then the villains all find out that they're kind of, they all know Peter Parker.
Those were they
and
all
they're
like in different
universes.
ways, yeah.
And I asked Alex too. It was really weird because who was the villain?
I think it was Green Goblin.
Well, obviously,
Was
but
the-
like before Green Goblin with the Aunt May thing, it's like
It was just kind of like
what are we
society.
doing? Yeah, it's like
Man versus
himself.
society.
We live in a society.
It was like Peter trying to, salvage his life after his biggest secret coming
And Peter
out.
messed it up because he wanted the spell, and he messed it up.
And then the spell doesn't even work. That kind of like I was surprised. Well, it worked in that it brought the villains, but like literally like nothing else of it worked. That kind of shocked me.
If fucking the entire movie could have been avoided with a phone call. That's
Yeah.
like that's the biggest thing.
The phone
You just
call.
start there.
Seriously, I love.
But I've turned around on that because the biggest problem with the Tom Holland Spider-Man that I've seen is he doesn't really feel like his own character. Like he's always having like help from someone, whether it's like Tony Stark or Nick Fury or Doctor Strange, and I think that's what they're transitioning him to now, is a more adult Spider-Man, one that has less people he can rely on and has to kind of find that from within himself.
He's like alone, moving into an apartment by himself. Which, by the way, how can you afford that?
Oh yeah,
You have a job.
Pizza time.
Doesn't have a credit score.
How's he building his credit up? By the way, when I heard the rent is due on the 1st of the month, I thought for a split second maybe they'll show Tobey Maguire.
Get your damn rent, Lenny.
Yeah, seriously, I thought maybe they would do some little funny scene.
You
like
see
that.
him fucking. They literally like green screened him in from the other movie where he's like, "You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door." Slam.
I don't know. Here's the other thing too. There will be another Spider-Man.
Yes.
There'll be another Iron Man. Do we really believe for the rest of mankind they will never do this again?
I don't know.
No,
They'll keep milking this cow till it's a fucking skeleton.
I wonder if they'll ever just do a straight up like ultimate MCU like they did with the comics, where they're just kind of like like a little hard universal reset reboot of all these other characters and slightly different variations.
Look, dude. I just want an Avengers with the fucking X-Men in it. That's all I want.
If anyone actually out there believes they will never make another Iron Man and no one will ever play Iron Man again, it will just be Robert Downey Jr., get your head out of the sand. Because, Junior, it will happen. Give it time, it will happen. They will do all this over again.
It's gonna happen.
It will.
It's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be 40.
It's like they did it with Batman. You know, people say Christian Bale did a great Batman. Well, guess what? We've had soon to be 2 Batmen, Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson.
Since then.
And we're getting Keaton back again.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, he's doing a Batman movie.
No way.
So we're gonna have 3 concurrent. Well, I don't think Affleck's doing it anymore.
Affleck.
But it does sound like Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Affleck.
So close.
Hey, customer's always an asshole.
But so, and that's what we're like, and then now we've got, you know, Tom Holland, Spider-Man. You could go back and make another Andrew Garfield one. I think there's enough potential there because he might get wrapped up in the Venom verse now. And then you have the animated Miles Morales. Like, you could just have like 5 different Spider-Mans going at the same time, and I think people would probably still eat it up.
It's Spider-Mania!
I think it'll just be new Batmans and Spider-Man. Who's the best? I think they'll do that with Captain America and Iron Man.
They already did. They turned Falcon into Captain America.
Well, there you go. And you know what? That actor will get
They
old.
will never let a black man be Captain America. That literally, they said that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's
the second time.
Sean Connery.
Get a little cold shoulder.
Look, what's the final rating on this movie?
Final rating, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. There are some faults. I agree with Chris that it definitely needs a second watch, which I'm probably going to do with my fucking dad at some point. He's probably going to drag us. We're going to go. I say that like it's a bad thing. I would love to go see it with my dad and my little brother, but like yeah, once you get past the action figures bumping nasties together, bumping uglies together,
Bumping nasties.
the stuff in between isn't very strong, but
The
it's
tension
strong
in scenes
enough.
was really good. I like the silent part in the woods when he first sees Electro and Sandman. That was good tension. The Aunt May, like, that was good. I don't remember the score too much. I don't have a good ear for music.
There was a scene in the mirrored dimension where Strange and Spider-Man are fighting. The music sounded awesome. Like, when this comes out, I gotta find that song. It looked bad. It sounded bad.
That's where I gotta pay attention on a second watch. I don't think I heard a Spider-Man theme once, though, which kind of disappointed me.
I think it was at the very end. There was like a Spider-Man theme.
Sure.
Yeah, but I kind of recognized something. But that just goes to show how like not like memorable it is. Like Spider-Man's like da 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 da, but it wasn't.
Honestly, yeah, no, I like if I know that if I heard it, I would have been hyped as fuck.
Yeah,
but
they didn't have that.
I did
Bear
like
McCreary score, just like did nothing.
I did like how the movie just started, like in the middle of a 50-mile-an-hour chase.
Running.
Yeah, I did like that. Slow down.
Immediately after the end of Far From Home, you could watch those 2 back to back.
Yeah, you could splice them together and it'd be the
Tom
exact
Holland's
same.
a lot
People
older
are
all
going
of
to
a
do
sudden.
that. They're going to do that. When it comes out on DVD, they will edit the scenes together.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
not a bad thing.
Whatever.
Giant 5-hour
Fuck it.
movie.
I would give it a 7 out of 10. right now. If I watch it again, it might go up. My biggest problem is there were pacing issues where it was really fast, and it kind of slowed down, then it really slowed down, and then it sped up really quick. It kind of felt a little like, okay, we're holding your hand, now we're pushing you out of the nest, and if you don't fly, whatever. Oh, we're just kidding, we're pulling you back up. Nope, we're pushing you again. It felt a little too rushed at times, and I know Spider-Man's supposed to be a genius, but are these idiots really like that smart they can create a serum? I don't know. It just kind of
in a high school science lab.
Yeah, it
In
just
a box with scraps.
a little too. Yeah, that's one of the best lines in any movie I've ever heard.
They tried to repeat it too, I think.
They used the scene verbatim. Like they actually cut the scene into Far From Home. It was literally Jeff Bridges going up to his tie flipping and everything, going up to the fucking pudgy little science guy and being like, Tony Stark built this in a cave.
I mean, you think about it. How the fuck are you in a laboratory and you can't figure this out, but a guy in a cave did it? Zane will disagree.
Plot armor.
Yeah, it's
Top
one of
brand.
it's one of the best lines ever because it's so true. Because you go, how did they figure out it's in a cave? And the guy in the movie said it, so they're aware of it. But yeah, I mean, in a high school laboratory, and they can just figure this out.
I found it.
It's a little too convenient.
Like Peter Parker's like, he's smart, that, but then he's always as smart as like the plot needs him to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the script needs to be really smart. Got it. Come on, man.
One thing I thought was really funny, though, I like the parallels, is that, like, in Amazing Spider-Man, he fights Lizard in a high school, and then, like, in the movie, like, Lizard ends up in the high school lab, where, like...
That was funny.
Ned...
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that
Look
was
at that.
I thought that was a cute little parallel. Anyway.
Yeah, not like super in your face, but nice and tasteful.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with Stone. I think 7 out of 10
That's
is
pretty fair.
about as far as I can currently take. And I think on a repeat watch, I would probably like it a bit more. Mm-hmm. But it does feel very much like Endgame in a way that, like, it's less about the actual story and more about the story beats.
We gotta
And
wrap
it's
this
kind
up.
of like all these like beats one after another that are cool to see, but then as far as like the whole experience, it doesn't really stick with you as much as something like, I think Spider-Verse did a very good job at delivering an emotional story, and
Yeah.
that was kind of, I guess, maybe my standard going into this, because I think Homecoming was able to deliver on that, and I don't remember Far From Home too much, but I think even that was still able to hit those beats. But then this one, it seemed very much, this is the Spider-Man beat it's up villains one.
I think maybe you kind of brought up something that you didn't mean to, but Endgame. I felt like with Endgame, there was so much pressure to come up with a good ending, and I kind of felt like this one suffered the same thing. Like, we have a lot riding on this.
I'm raising my hand, teacher.
Yes, what do you have to say?
I was going to say, I don't think Endgame had a bad ending. I just think it took way too fucking long to get to that ending. And that's why the movie kind of fell flat.
That's how I felt about the last 30 minutes of this one, is it did kind of seem like it was going on quite long.
How many scenes of Tom Holland crying can you have before you're like, all right, can we please...
Yeah.
Can we go to the part where they all come together and fight, please?
Not all three Spider-Men cried at one point.
Tobey Maguire had the fucking ugly cry face when Uncle Ben died. He was like, he didn't actually, but that would have been
No,
funny.
he got teary-eyed. Garfield kind of actually cried. Tom Holland, I think he cries in every movie. Mr. Stark, I feel good. We all remember that scene.
Mr. Stark, I'm starting to get my Peter tingle down under.
Look, really quickly, I think Endgame was fine being long because it's called Endgame. In my head, I thought this was it. So yeah, take your time.
true.
I don't care.
Sure, it can be long. I'm just saying the stuff that they had in there that made it long, just, I don't know.
Honestly, I gotta watch it again because most of the middle part's kind of a blur. I remember Ant-Man comes back and gets the movie rolling.
Paul Rudd is like, oh god, and then
Oh,
throws
God.
him on the floor.
Hey, really quickly, we should.
He laughs so hard he pukes. You were gonna say Daily Butt?
Well, not just that, but honestly,
we're gonna do that after the podcast.
we should have a new segment where we bring up a movie, but we simplify it like to the max.
Oh, we just make fun. We just make fun of it.
Yeah,
not really make, but like summarize it, but like in a funny, like
Some healthy
not,
riffing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Iron Man.
Iron Man 2,
how
where
could you-
fucking
oh,
the
God.
the Russian guy, fucking
He wants his
Slavic
blade.
guy, fucking Minecraft digs himself. He's like, oh my god.
I am Russian spider, Russian Iron Man,
What about
not the Rhino.
Let me think. I'm trying to think of a non-superhero movie that we've all seen.
My last thing on Spider-Man before we end this little spoiler thing
Yes.
is that I thought it was really fucking stupid that they had like a 3-second cut where someone threw fucking paint on Spider-Man and he was like, oh jeez, I can't get this out, this sucks. And then like when he's out fighting Electro, he turned his suit inside out and he's got like the black Spider-Man suit.
Dude, you gotta sell more toys.
Exactly.
You
That was
gotta-
exactly what I was.
It's so no.
That's true.
That is exactly what I was going
Oh
to
my
say.
God.
It literally only exists so there's no purpose. It doesn't do anything to enhance the plot. It's literally
You gotta
just so they
sell-
could put him in a new suit so they could sell more fucking Funko Pops.
New
Wow.
merchandise.
It pisses me
No
off.
one wants the old one.
I hate that.
I was
fucking
wondering
hate
about that
They've
black
ruined
suit.
some. Yeah, they've ruined some
Oh.
great costumes by having to needlessly change them.
Yeah, and then like when Doc Ock is like, "Thank you for saving me, Peter," and then he puts the fucking nanobots that he got from the suit earlier that like attached to his tentacles back onto his suit, and he gets like the new fucking like Wonder Woman stripes on him.
I would say, yeah, it did look like a different Iron Spider version.
It wasn't even the Iron Spider. It was just like it had like stripes, and that was it. It was just a regular suit with stripes. And
Alright.
honestly, like fucking sure, sell your toys, but like, do you really need like 5 suits in the same fucking film?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
really?
Yes.
You're already going to sell more Doc Ock and fucking new Green Goblin and new Electro and you're gonna sell so many. Do you really need like 8 fucking Spider-Men?
Yes.
You need a million.
The money, yes.
Fuck you. Spoilers over. We're done. We're done talking about
They want to
Spider-Man.
make movies, yes, absolutely. And speaking of movies, Matrix movie coming out next week.
Ooh,
John Wick 4.
pretty much.
John Wick 4, is that official?
John Wick 4 is actually going to happen, but I just say that as a joke. Kind of like how I say that,
Oh, yeah, because
that Bloodborne is Dark Souls 3 before Dark Souls 3 came out, because it's made by the same studio and it's basically the same game.
Do you think Keanu Reeves wanted to have the beard in Matrix 4 because A, he just really likes the beard, or B, if he shaves, he's going to look really old? Because with the beard, he looks pretty good.
He's gonna have fucking jowls.
Yeah, but if you shave, he's going to have some wrinkles. But are you guys excited for that? I'm going to see it.
No.
See it in the theater.
I've only seen half the Matrix because that's how I downloaded the torrent, and then I didn't do the second part of it.
Well, really quickly, the first Matrix is great. One of the best movies ever. The second and third ones happened. They are entertaining, but it's one of those things where you're like, if you never made these, this could have been easily one of the best movies ever. But now, the second and third movies...
I heard that Animatrix is supposed to be pretty good.
I heard the same thing. You don't have to watch the Animatrix before the second one. I haven't seen it.
But yeah, I heard 2 and 3 is just like... We got a lot of great content of people waiting in line for the second Matrix.
I will say this. I watched the fourth Matrix Resurrections. I don't know what it's about. Because there's actually speculation that it's a sequel to the first one, and they're just ignoring the second and third, or it is a sequel after the third, but the creators haven't even
Isn't this
said
one
anything.
called Resurgence?
No, it's called Resurrections.
Resurrection.
So, Resurrections from what exactly?
Fuck.
Because it doesn't...
Resurrection from the dead because no one gave a fuck about Matrix.
I feel like that movie is gonna go off the rails. And in
like, good or bad?
in a divisive way. Like, it might be like, I saw some article that was like potentially referring to it as like a Last Jedi, as far as like the split, as in like they have this very clear vision and this idea, and some people are gonna like it and some people are gonna be like, fuck that.
I'll get the pistol.
I think I like Alex's. I think people are just gonna say, "I saw John Wick 4. It was good." I think that's what people refer
I hope
to
he
it as.
leans back and it's like whoosh 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 whoosh, and the bullets are like whizzing past them.
I really hope John Wick 4 is called the one where John Wick dies.
No, they're making a fifth one. There are
That's
two
gonna be
sequels.
Halle Berry and her dogs, though. That's
Halle
gonna be
Berry.
awesome.
So you guys aren't interested in seeing Matrix?
I'll see it.
You see it?
I'll
I
see
mean, if someone invites me to go, I'll go, but not on my own volition.
Well, have you seen the
it.
others?
Kidnap you.
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the others.
You should probably watch. Well, you should probably just go back and watch all three, just so you can get like caught up. And if you haven't seen the second and third one, then I can get your take whether you like it or not. Because a lot of people look. The first movie, great. Second movie, good. The third one's like,
Doesn't the third one have like a white guy with dreadlocks or something?
no, that's the second one. The Invisible Twins. They're actually pretty cool. It's like that Darth Maul thing. Like, hey, these guys are cool. How come they're in the movie for 2 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Reloaded, Revelations, and Resurrections.
A lot of R's. It's like the
Yeah.
Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home.
Revengeance.
And remember, Matrix is R-rated. So
That's true,
They have
yeah.
that going for them. And the second and third movie both came out in 2003.
They can say fuck, they can say shit, and they can have titties on screen.
Oh, can't wait.
Can't wait.
Well, I'm looking
Little
forward
Matrix
to that.
titties, those zeros and ones.
So, any last words?
You make it sound like this is an execution.
No, put the pistol down. Put the pistol down.
Any last words?
Okay, I'll put it down.
Any finishing words? Any closing words?
Any last words?
You could have said it before we head off. Well, that also kind of sounds like we're... yeah.
Before we head off, or sign off, and never come on again.
Yeah,
any
this is
last
the last
words?
podcast. Don't...
This is the retirement podcast. This is how we're going out.
With a bang.
I had a lot of fun. Talk about Spooderman.
Spooderman. Yeah, there's really not much of a review to do. We
are-
did Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We did the Wright Brothers anniversary.
I'm glad we got that. I almost missed that.
We talked about the generation gaps and labels.
Yes.
Fucking Gen Alpha.
I can't remember anything else.
That was basically it.
There are a couple other things thrown in there, but
Chris admitted that he was a weeb. He watches JoJo like me.
That's true. I outed myself. This is like my personal Peter Parker being revealed as Spider-Man moment.
Seriously?
And I have to go see a wizard and get this fixed.
ay.
What now?
Well, I
Do
guess,
we call it?
Yeah,
This is a beefy one.
It's chunky.
that's pretty good. Chunky.
That's a chunky boy.
What-
Look at that heckin' chonkerino.
The heckin',
I can't wait for this to be taken down by YouTube because we spoiled No Way Home.
dude. Really?
All right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Oh wait, actually,
Bye.
wait. I have a good send off.
What's that?
I'm gonna tell you guys a very quick story.
Oh, sure.
All right, so you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So you know the band Aerosmith.
No. Yes,
Never.
of course.
Okay.
That's the one that's like,
Yeah, Steven Tyler, Screaming Demon. But in the 70s, they were a huge band, but they were so addicted to drugs, and they did so many drugs, it really almost like killed them, literally. And the band kind of not broke up, but some guys left and they came back. They got back together in 1984, 85, and they did Done with Mirrors, their comeback album. But before that, Steven Tyler, who's a really nice guy, he did so many drugs, it messed with his memory, okay? So he was listening to the radio one day, and a very obscure Aerosmith song came up. It was called You See Me Crying. Very, very good, but very obscure. And he's listening to it, and he really liked it, but he didn't know it was them. So the guitarist, Joe Perry, was sitting next to him, and Steven looked at him. He's like, hey, I really like this song. I think we should cover this. Joe Perry looks at him, and he goes, it's us, fuckhead. Goodbye, everybody. That's
bye.
Thanks for having us.
yeah. Thanks for having us on your podcast.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, guys.
We turn it over. We're turning the keys.
Yeah,
over
the
to
new
you.
host of Korn and Kock, Chris.
the Chris
Our new
podcast.
management.
And
New
we'll spell
management.
Chris with a K, and it'll be K-H-R-I-S.
The Korn, Kock, and Chris podcast.
No, we need...
No, that should be the title.
Korn and Kock and Brock.
No, for this one. Korn, Kock, and Chris, but with a K.
Fuck you. All right, bye, everybody.
See
Thanks
ya.
for joining us. See you next week.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.